that hasn't worked as well as I'd hoped, you know, but I'm just being honest there. But the ones about stress and anxiety are wonderful, the ones about insomnia. And again, these are all free, easy things that you can do. Other things to think about are taking up yoga. And my kids do yoga, we do yoga together. And there's lots of free places to get it. There's DVDs to get from the library. If you have Comcast on demand, there can be free yoga in that way. And I'm obviously a member of a club. And in California, all the hospitals actually offer yoga. So yeah, you know, I live in San Francisco. So you know, we have yoga at lunchtime almost every single day. And for people that are actually a patient of the hospital or attending, or you know, outpatients, you know, the programs are all free, because you know, we realize that you know, the role again of stress and anxiety on every medical condition, whether it's diabetes or heart disease or cancer, you know, or prematurity, that controlling that stress level, dialing it down, is only going to make things better. So for the hospital, it's a worthwhile investment. And then I think other things to think about are, you know, what are the things that give you joy in life, and to try to focus on those. And the other thing is to think that, you know, there is support out there. And that's, I think, the final thing that I'd like to sort of end on, and then we can certainly open this up for discussion, is to know that talking to somebody else who's been through the same situation is very empowering. Because even though 12.5% of babies are premature, how many people here in the room have had a premature baby feel that they're the only one it's happened to? How many people have that feeling, right? 12.5%. That's, you know, basically an incredibly large percentage of the population if you think, if you look at different sort of representative groups. And why we all have that feeling is really a hard thing to understand. But we also know that connecting to people, just talking about our experiences, just even yesterday when Kelly and I were talking in the pool, and oh my gosh, that happened to you, well that happened to me, and does your kid do this? Yeah, my kid does that. And just knowing that, you know, you're not the only one is incredibly helpful. And I think that it's been very difficult for people to advocate for themselves, because not only are we, a lot of us, suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, but we're actually really busy caring for our medically fragile child who has a lot of issues. So it's really difficult to get your head above water even for just a few minutes. So when someone sort of offers you that hand to hold, you know, I think it's a great thing to grab it and say, let me pull myself up with this. Because somebody else who's been there can actually really offer a lot, I think, of a lot of encouragement, advice. And as Kelly mentioned, the medical studies show that when people or parents are involved in a peer support program, even as little as talking on the phone once a week for 15 minutes, that actually the incidence of depression, stress, and also outcomes can improve. We can lower the incidence of depression and stress and improve the outcomes. And so I'm going to end just reading one last little section from the first chapter of my book. Years ago in my 10th grade French class, we had to give an oral report on how to do something. For most of us, this involved hours of translation to produce a page or so of work. I stood in front of the class and recited, in French of course, how to bake chocolate chip cookies. I thought I was so smart bringing the cookies to share with the class. Then one of the quieter boys from the back stood up and informed us his essay was titled, How to Walk. He spoke one sentence. Put one foot in front of the other and repeat. We were all stunned, the teacher especially, and the class roared, brilliant. Brilliant indeed. It's funny how, years later, these childhood moments can be as vivid as the day we first lived them. When I experience this memory, I feel as if I'm really there, sitting in on the class like Scrooge visiting his Christmas past. This memory has become very dear to me, even inspirational, because that's exactly what you do in a time of crisis. You put one foot in front of the other and repeat. And so...